And it's kind of looking like we're going to see the +1 attack and blink starting momentarily. He's getting the robo as well, immediately behind this Neeb. Working on his walker count currently, looking to try and snipe some of those drones here. Usually he's very good at preserving his oracles or keeping them alive. And as I say that, of course, he loses the 1 here. So he got 4 drones, but lost 1 of the oracles. Definitely not ideal. That would have been so much better to escape with it, even if on no hit points.
Yeah, honestly, just not the best of starts over here for Neeb. Nothing that's catastrophic by any way, shape, or form, but getting the adept shut down, losing 1 of the oracles so early on, not really finding a whole lot of drone damage. In fact, I think we're at basically just 4 workers killed so far for all of that. It's not terrible, like it's not anything you can't recover from, but definitely not the kind of start Neeb wanted to have.
And she started to move out from Neeb and is really respecting that and getting a ton of units here for now.
Yeah, I think she has to. This is a pretty fair number of units over here from Neeb with a lot of force fields available. Needs to start throwing some down soon. Okay, there comes down 2 of the force fields, locking out a portion of the army. Ravager's going to be able to knock down those force fields, but not before Neeb takes his little tax there, knocks out a few of those roaches. But again, like this is a 6 gateway pressure on 3 bases. He doesn't have to end the game or kill a hatchery or anything over here, but he is looking to put a little bit of pressure on while securing his 4th base behind this.
Perhaps a tag here from the Oracle. Actually misses. He just missed most of the army. That's weird. Keep going back. Yeah, that was just a pressure that was trying to be sold as a big all-in. And Scarlett, not being sure what was happening, just made a ton of units. He really respected the attack, but she kind of skipped on drones because of that. Now Neeb is on 72 walkers against 67. And we see 10 swarm hosts and a Nidus on the way.
I feel like it's a lot easier to spread out and kind of split up your units to take out these Nidus swarms a lot faster now.
As soon as Neeb heard that cry that probably gives many Protosses nightmares, he walked in extra stalkers on the left-hand side to make sure he could get rid of some of these locusts. Might have lost the Nexus without that, uses the overcharge. And he will be able to save the Nexus. Very nicely done. But on the other side, Scarlett used that as a decoy on the left side to attack as a surprise. But Neeb has so many stalkers. As long as he blinks back, he might be fine here.
Yeah, needs another warp in and needs some of those reinforcements to arrive from that 3rd base. But with the blink micro, he is able to keep a lot of these stalkers alive. He blinks forward onto both the Lings and those roaches and Ravagers. Ends up taking a lot of damage, but cleans up the Nidus Swarm at the same time. More Swarmos Locusts are going to be coming on out. I don't think that Shield Battery Overcharge is going to be an option this time, but he's got a lot of Stalkers over here. Forces the landing of the Locust fairly early on as well, and is doing a decent job keeping a lot of his units alive, despite the fact that, I mean, he's on pure Stalker right now.
Yeah, Neeb even dodged the Corrosive Bile here on his probes at the last second. He's so sick. That micro on the Stalkers was really, really good. He shuts down the Nidus on the right-hand side, but we got another one on the left-hand side yet again. And these Swarmos are not really dying. It's still the whole 10 of them. The next siege on the left-hand side, Neeb is able to anticipate. Usually it always goes left, right, left, right, left, right. He's getting ready for it, but he doesn't have that many Stalkers on the left-hand side, and Scarlett is still maxed out. She can sack so many of these roaches here, even if it's not a cost-effective trade.
Yeah, I think that those Locusts on the left-hand side are going to be able to get the damage done that they're looking for. Scarlett's paying attention, and she focus fires down that Nexus. Stasis Trap actually catches a lot of the Locusts, though, while Neeb is continuing to put pressure on with the Stalkers on the right. I actually think that Stasis Trap might have been a massive saver right there, because if Neeb loses that Nexus on the left, it is a really awkward spot, because Scarlett is still expanding behind this. Neeb still has a hard time moving out, and he doesn't have power units, but Neeb has managed to save his Nexus, and I think he's also been able to push back the right-hand side. This is actually like not the worst situation in the world for Neeb anymore.
Scarlett realizes that this Warpism harassment is likely to continue very consistently, so she gets actually a lot of spores. I was expecting some spines here to help out against the Zealots.
Yeah, well, I guess they will technically zone out a Warp Prism. That will absolutely happen.
Ooh, the Stalkers on the right side have ran into Lurkers here for a second. That was really worrying. I thought Neeb might not be looking, but then he finally reacted. Scarlett on 201 supply, why not? Neeb's AoE is massive here. He's got Purification Novas, he's got High Templars. Carriers is something that Scarlett needs to start mining. That's the whole point of going for this composition. You're getting everything you need with enough AoE, enough air units that the opponent needs to get. In this case, Corruptors is usually the weapon of choice. And you mentioned it, like these Swarmos, they're supposed to start falling off at some point. It kind of feels like it's right about now. And how does Scarlett get rid of them? You know, you don't really want to run them in to just die, but that might actually be one of the better options to replace them with something more effective.
Yeah, I think what's kind of going to be important is that she finds an opportunity to replace them. Basically, if she's going to do some sort of sacrificial play with them, it should be after she has a little bit more of a bank built up, right? Because you want to replenish that supply immediately. You don't want to let your opponent be able to pounce on an opportunity where 30 of your supply is still in production.
Neeb's going up to 6 Stargates, so he's getting ready for the full transition here. This is usually the time where you want to sack some of your gateway units. So if you have Zealots, that will be the time. But Neeb actually doesn't have a whole lot of Zealots. He just swapped some in the main base of Scarlett, again, trying to bring her out of position yet again.
Yeah, Scarlett has a long way to go to actually come all the way back home into the main base. This is quite annoying, even with the mobile units like those speedlings. And this lets Neeb actually finally push back some of that patented creep spread of Scarlett, which has really gotten pretty far forward. I don't even know how many queens exactly Scarlett actually has. She only has 1 queen left over. This creep spread is pretty hard to replace.
These lurkers here just got caught at the worst time. Purification Nova is cleaning out 3 of them, I think it was. And it seems like some Protoss players, by the way, that we saw earlier, on 3 bases, they go for the Dark Shrine every time. Some of them on 4. Neeb, apparently, he needs to be on 5 solid bases. And then he's like, all right, now I can go for the Dark Shrine.
Yeah. I think the late game Dark Shrines are definitely pretty high value later on, especially if your opponent isn't investing a crazy ton into static defense. War Prism is going to be able to successfully get off this big round of Zealot and DT Warpins. Gets one of the Lurker Dens. There is a second one around, but if you actually find that second one, kill the Hydra Den, that will slow down some of the reproduction capabilities here for Scarlett.
Yeah, the Prism actually finally died when single Corruptor was dispatched to do this. And also, you talk about late game Dark Shrine. I'm pretty sure you get it on 1 or 2 bases, Ravi, don't you?
That is my late game thought. It's all relative. DTs will not be able to kill that hatchery in time, or at least they should not be able to. Not only because of the Overseer flying on in, but Overseer being made as well. But Neeb actually circumvents it around. Scarlett a little bit distracted because there is a massive Protoss death ball on her side of the creep right now that's really just pulling all of her attention away, including actually the attention away from the Swarmos. I think that Neeb just disrupted his own Stalkers.
It's intentional, I think, losing them. I mean, perhaps.
Absolutely.
This guy's like, oh no, don't kill my Swarmos. This is so bad for me, please.
Yeah.
Blink DT is being researched. Your legacy lives on Pure Dragon.
We got a couple of Infestors finally coming on out over here for Scarlett. Those can actually be really, really big game changers in the right situation against some of these Protoss Deathball armies, both with the fungal growth on just hitting a lot of the air toss or slowing down some of these Archons from closing the gap on things. And actually, funny enough, I have seen some big playmaker moments from a Zerg player that gets a good old mind control on one of the disruptors, takes out all the High Templar or the other disruptors or something. It's possible, but it's a lot to ask for.
You're hoping we see something crazy or what, Ravi? Oh, actually at the top, Neeb getting a bit overeager here, engaging into Lurkers. Those Lurkers have been such a problem. Like, he can't quite attack into them, but although like Scarlett, it's very hard for her to properly siege. Now she finally sieges right outside the range of those cannons. So it's going to be a slow siege. That might trigger for Neeb to head up there with everything, but then Scarlett would strike in the bottom right. So it's very hard to pick exactly how to go about countering this right now for Neeb. And he might attack at the bottom all alike right there, even though there's a lot of spores. I think that's what Scarlett's waiting for with all these Corruptors, Vipers, and Infestors. She's trying to get the wombo combo of fungal parasitic bomb on these air units.
She is. Now, probes coming on in. Actually managed to get a few hits off on those spores. But Revelations are going to be a big deal over here. Making sure you keep an eye out on the positioning of the army. Changeling setting off stasis traps, which is actually something that only happens if the Changeling hasn't morphed by the time that it goes into the stasis trap. It's kind of a rare thing to see. But yeah, I think the Scarlett getting that top left-hand base is actually a really, really big deal right now. Neeb, I wouldn't hate if he did something like send a portion of his army up to the top left kind of discreetly. And then if he needs to, he can recall with the mothership, the whatever army he sends up there to take care of that base.
Scarlett with a second spawning pool, that was added actually. And she also made another lair.
I'm actually a massive fan of that. Because think about it, if you're in one of these situations, Scarlett doesn't actually have a massive bank,
Yeah.
But if there's like a big zealot warp in or something in her main again, that would cause all sorts of havoc.
That is a lot of lurkers. Whew. Yeah, it is, I think you might want to press the eject button here on this one. It's almost tempting to recall with the air units against this, because you will kill those lurkers pretty fast. But I guess Scarlett will react on burrow and then run away. And I mean, this base might have been worth saving, but Neeb will do the other option, which is to push at the bottom of the map instead, seeing that a lot of the army of Scarlett is up there. But then she's gonna siege the next base. I mean, it's almost out of minerals.
Yeah, I think this is going to be the big play over here for Neeb. He's going to be able to put the pressure on and force Scarlett to do something because, well, Scarlett's doing a nice job with these lurkers in the top left and everything. This base is pretty much empty, so it's only really providing, I guess, like positional value. But the Tempest being able to whittle away at the spores and the spines is going to be a problem that Scarlett eventually has to solve. Although, if random Archons are just going to run in and kind of sacrifice themselves to the lurkers, that's also not too bad for Scarlett.
Yeah, she's trying to basically clear out Neeb away from the top side of the map and take it entirely for her. But Neeb's doing the same at the bottom. He might just end up taking... Actually, he has all the bases that are down there now, that he's taking like the last one pretty much with a lot of minerals. This one down there that he just killed, probably not worth expanding on. There's very few minerals left. And Scarlett still hasn't taken 11 o'clock. But now she's the one, it feels like, with a lot of the bases that have a lot of minerals on them and gas as well.
Oh, finds the Nidus Storm, launches a few disruptor shots over there. But he's going to have to back off. Those Vipers regenerating the energy. I think Neeb does not want to overstep his bounds over here, as he is kind of, like you were saying, establishing a defensive position in that bottom right-hand side. Because he's given up some of the position in the top left. Does have to be a bit wary, because if Scarlett gets even a little bit further forward, some of that production's going to be under fire. So I think Neeb has to be a bit cautious about that, as well as all these corruptors. Oh my god.
There's not a whole lot of minerals left on the map here. And both players have quad the bank, but Neeb's gas, oh my goodness, he's almost at 9,000. It's over 9,000.
A lot of Archons. So it's about to be over 9,000, and well, since they aren't really bleeding off units that quickly, he's definitely going to continue to build up more and more of a bank. But Scarlett's bank is about basically half in terms of the gas count. And Neeb is going to have opportunity to dump a lot of that into, say, like later game Archons and stuff, especially if that massive 46 Corruptor Ball is still going strong later on. I'm actually just wondering, is this the point in the game where you maybe want to start sacrificing a few more of those workers, basically improving your army supply?
I think you want to mine out first. It's better to be patient. Like the way Neeb was pushing earlier, he was throwing away units because Scarlett was sitting within the safety of her spores, and she was just coming in and abducting from max range and then sniping whatever was around, which was 2 Tempests. So Neeb needs to do the same. Just camp near those cannons. Wait until you've mined out, kill all your own probes, and then go for the 200 maxed out army supply.
Okay, well, the Votaries and the Tempests are coming on forward onto creep yet again. This player is really just looking for any opportunities they can, and I think this is kind of becoming a bit of a commitment over here for Neeb. He's trying to do zoning storms. How many High Templars does he actually have available? He has 7 on the map. I don't think all of them are with his army right now, so he really does have to be a bit cautious about this.
The greatest fire down there is like, joke's on you, I was gonna bleed out anyway. And he does just that near Neeb's army, who's taking out the pool in the main base. I guess he's gonna get the Baning Nest. Not really anything too relevant or important, I feel like, down there, but I guess that's a part of the map that he's just gonna clear out and not have to worry about. Pushing back the creep also can be important, even on this side. And yeah, we're getting closer to the map fully being mined out on both sides. Like there's barely, I mean, there's actually a few minerals left down there at 6 o'clock, which you could long distance mine. And Scarlett, as long as there's no spores around, it's very risky to fly in and try and look for abducts.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that though, because I think you've actually brought up a really good point also, that Scarlett hasn't really put any pressure on the bottom right. It's always been on this top side. Oh, there's another dead mothership. So maybe this next one, Todd. This next mothership.
That mothership might as well be one of the shitcoin that I keep hearing about. Definitely not paying off at all.
Hey, I've made some good money on shitcoin. Don't you shit talk them.
That was terrible. Like those last 2 motherships, like They cloaked for a bit, and he was like, "All right, get out of here! Like you don't belong in this game." And he requeued one immediately.
Just because the first 2 shit coins don't do well doesn't mean the third one won't.
I mean, to be honest, you're supposed to kind of put that behind your army, which it sounds easy. It's actually one of the hardest things in the game. I don't know what it is about motherships. They always want to go in front somehow. They're like, oh, air units are blocking each other. Let me move out of the way. And then suddenly they go towards the opponent and they get abducted.
Yeah, it's like, I have an 8 range attack. And it's like, somehow you are at melee range every time. Okay, oh my god, he walks through a storm to get rid of the changelings. We will be able to get back to a safe haven over here. I don't think that Scarlett wants to fight in range of the shield batteries and all cannons over there, but yeah,
Gravity
the bottom
drive
right, I think that...
You see that gravitic drive on the way? So Neeb,
wow, it's very
he's
late.
anticipating, obviously, like he's gonna lose units. You know, it's not like he's gonna win the fight super one-sidedly. So if you, for 2 supply, you get a prism, he's up to 12 gateways. So maybe he sneaks a war prism behind and, you know, does the big warp in and try to eliminate some of the key buildings, or he reinforces straight into the fight to help his air units.
I think you bring up a really good point, and I'll add to this a little bit. I want you to look at the hatchery count and the larva count right now for Scarlett.
I can't because I'm looking at something else. I'm just kidding.
Okay.
Yeah. What's up?
All right. Scarlett has 12 larvae total, like on the entire map. After all of this, she only has 12 larvae available, and she basically has 3 hatcheries and 1 hive. She doesn't have, I think, she has 3 queens, which is not really larva injector or anything. If there is a big fight, Scarlett will be able to make 12 units. That's it.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. Actually, that's a sick thing to mention here, because it's gonna be key. It sounds like. I mean, so far, very cost effective here with those ducts and snipes on the Tempest. Neeb can't be too happy about this, but yeah, you're right. And I don't really see any injects happening anywhere. Like those queens, they're just AFK, man. They're just chilling in the center, ready to use transfusions.
Yeah, imagine there's a fight. They both trade. They both fall down to like 100 supply or 50 supply or something crazy like that. Neeb fires up 6 void rays, 2 more disruptors, warps in 12 stalkers / DTs / zealots, and Scarlett starts up 12 corruptors. Like,
that sounds pretty sad.
Yeah,
that's actually why also he went for ground armor level 3, which will complete now. A cyber core to be remade. Actually, he was sniped earlier in the wall of Neeb around his natural base. And yeah, I see very few mineral patches left. Neeb, the execution of the probes. No, wait, some of them still have minerals. A penny saved is a penny earned. Neeb. No, they're healing them.
Oh Lord. Well, probes are gonna at least probes are just robots, right? They don't they don't have a soul.
Wait, you don't go in a long distance mine. What's going on here? There's no minerals up there.
He's gonna hide a base over there.
It's gonna kill the tumor. These probes.
Ooh, value probes. Value probes.
Okay, so army supply 164 for Neeb, who's about to go into more than that as he's gonna lose those probes. Right now he's telling Scarlett that he's pretty much done. He's actually gonna work on that hive. Are you kidding me? Scarlett is torn about it. She's like, oh, if I kill this, then these become carriers. If I don't kill it, I lose my hive. What do I do?
That hive is down 5 health bars. Okay, it's actually working. Oh, imagine Neeb distracts Scarlett from her army because of the probes, and then Neeb jumps on the army when Scarlett wasn't looking.
Yeah, that one link was always going to do something about it. Spine as well was moved back in that position. Actually, she could have just sent all the links. A bit of an overreaction to Santa Spine. Scarlett, come on. Are you that afraid of probes?
Overreacting to the probes. A critical blunder.
Bottom right-hand side is getting close to mined out as well with the gas running out completely. But the abductions, yeah, they're the problem. Scarlett's still looking for them. As long as the entire army is always tagged like this, it's so hard for her to go for it because the Tempest will start shooting from like really far away. And I like that she didn't overmake Broodlords either. It's just the 2 actually right now. There's a big Stargate explosion. He's gonna go up to so many Stargates. He already has 6.
12.
Yeah, he's gonna go up to 12 Stargates. Hey, why not? If you look at the bank, it's definitely got the coin to spend on it.
Well, Todd, since we have some time, I'm going to do some quick math over here to see how much of Neeb's bank you can deplete by just making 12 Void Rays all at once. Because you would probably remake Void Rays, right? Not carriers, because carriers are going to take too long, I imagine.
Maybe it depends on what he loses in the fight. It feels like his composition right now is very complete. So whatever dies is what he's going to remake, which usually will be the Void Race at the front. Mm-hmm. Or perhaps that 400 unit, you know? He just keeps remaking it.
So 12 Void Rays would be 2,400 minerals. And it would be 1,800 gas. It'd only be 1/5 of his bank. Actually, less than that now.
That sounds really cheap.
1/5. Yeah, it's actually not too bad. Void Ray is not too shabby to scale up.
This would be a good time to do a F2, by the way, to make sure Neeb regroups with everything, as he has like 2 Void Rays in the Stargate on the right-hand side. He has 1 Archon and a Stalker all the way down near his cannons, and 1 Observer there as well. You really want to have all of your units here when you're finally going to move out for the fight. And for Scarlett, there's not much incentive to just move out. I guess it's Neeb eventually who's going to start a siege with the Tempest from afar on this Spores. He kind of needs to push the creep back. Scarlett is relentless with that creep. She's everywhere.
Yeah, and I mean to her defense also, I don't know that she has a whole lot else to do besides push creep straight forward. I don't think she's really worrying about anything else.
Like praising her creep spread, you're like, yeah, but she's got nothing else to do.
I mean, these players are a little bit of a standoff, right? They're trying to figure out any kind of opening. They are, of course, poking forward, guys. Like, they aren't literally just sitting there twiddling their thumbs being like, I hope that they attack into me. But it is one of those situations where it's a lot of the normal macro stuff is kind of fallen off. I do want to actually say that Scarlett did finally get up some of those larva injects. She now has 48 larva and is actually much better set up to spend a bit of a bank.
Imagine she loses everything, then she makes 48 mutas. Whereas Scarlett is still long distance mining with 14 workers down there. Everything at the top has been fully mined out except a couple mineral patches. I think we're actually going to see 200 against 200, Ravi.
Yeah, I think so. I wouldn't mind if Neeb, he's doing like these big moves to clear out creep with his entire army. If he had like an observer and a DT or something that were just paired together, cleaning out creep on the bottom side, I think that's actually, it's like annoying enough of a composition of units to actually go clean up, especially since he has like the Shadow Strike and everything. Like that DT can escape out of the way if units are coming to chase him down and everything. Well,
actually, you say that, but Neeb has an Observer, an Archon, and a Stalker down there. Still, like next to his cannons.
Yeah, they could actually be doing a bit. They could actually be denying this long distance drone mining.
Isn't it funny how like this wouldn't even achieve much to push back the creep? It might not be relevant to the main fight, but mentally it feels good, right? To go down there, remove the tumors. Like Scarlett is like, it's not Battleship, it doesn't matter. Like you're not winning real estate here. Like who cares?
Yeah. Oh, got another forward pylon coming on up, and Tempest. Oh, don't take out that creep tumor. I don't think that he'll be able to throw up too many more buildings over here. How's your day going, Todd?
Up there.
I think I might I might sit down.
We're standing this whole time.
I was standing this whole time.
My God.
I've been standing the entire broadcast. Okay. if you guys hear noise, it's me reverting to my sitting position on my desk.
I'm gonna go lay down in the fetal position after this game. This is nuts.
Oh, but Todd, we have another series after this.
He only tagged the front Spores here. I think Neeb is getting really wary about the amount of oracles that he's been losing to these abducts. It's a whole... Find it. There's so many different units that died, actually. I can't even find the oracle. Scarlett comes in and again make it minus 1600. It's 7 Tempests, 3 Carriers, 21 Void Rays. Okay, kind of feels like it's a lot, but I guess it is a lot of Corruptors then. These Disruptors didn't want to leave anymore. I kind of feel, was that an intentional sack? He's trying to pull them back now. Neeb might have messed up a bit if he wanted to actually keep that alive. Actually, they both live thanks to the shield battery here. Scarlett on 0 workers, Neeb on 2 probes. So he actually remade a probe there.
Okay. Hypothetical situation here, Todd. Neeb breaks through and is able to get past and like take out the hatcheries, Scarlett doesn't have a hatchery left over and therefore cannot make another hatchery and can't reproduce units.
Yeah, I mean,
16 larvae.
Scarlett is leaving herself a lot of room here to remake units, whatever it is that she chooses to go for, but...
What are those 5 Zerglings doing?
Not much. I think one of them was at the Watchtower up until recently.
Okay.
Scarlett actually doesn't have much options in terms of what to make behind it. She only has a Spire and a new PlayStation Pit, which is the 2 things she probably needs the most.
Yeah. So this is another Viper. I mean, I really do think like the big thing that's happening here is just that Neeb is working his way through this Spore Forest and gaining territory a lot faster than Scarlett is actually taking off the Mothership and Tempest and Void Rays. Like, Neeb is actually just getting further and further ahead with all this.
Do you think, are we going to make this minus 2.4?
I think before the end, not yet, but before the end that will happen. I actually think that Scarlett will not make it minus 2.8 though.
She's evacuating.
Oh boy, she's gonna lose a lot in the evacuation over here. And I don't actually just mean the spores. I mean, she's gonna lose all of her hatcheries for over here as well as the top left.
Neeb's actually not even chasing. I thought he might be like, don't turn your back away from me.
How is she going to remake all of her stuff with like 1 hatchery?
She starts 3 hatcheries and a spawning pool down there. Scarlett is on 194 army supply, but like to remake units here would be almost... Oh, she's still at the Spire. She started a Spire a while back down there, so she's morphing that into a greater Spire.
Todd, you don't think that's...
Neeb forgot about those units down there the whole game, and now he remembered because the Broodlords actually attacked that location. Oh no, the Stalker went down.
Finding value, okay? It slowed down the Broodlings. So, Todd, you don't think that Scarlett is backing up into a choke point for a better defensible position to continue to play the defender? You don't think she's doing that, right?
Yeah, I think this is what this is. Like, if you want to win in a game of Starcraft, you have to eliminate all the buildings of your opponent. So Scarlett, she's setting up down there, and she's like, come at me, Brett. If you can.
Okay.
Starcraft, by the way, is so funny.
Whoa,
like, got the whole game. Oh, Void Rays from the other side.
Broodlords! Oh, what are you doing?
Oh my god. That was so sick because he has Flux Veins. He recalled them to the Nexus, went in, killed Broodlords, and then recalled back to the Mothership. Neeb with the, I don't even know what to call it, Galaxy Brain IQ here.
Yeah. Todd, if this Mothership dies, it's no longer minus 2400, minus 2400, because he got real value out of it.
It will still be, but yeah, I guess it definitely helped finally.
He killed the 5 Zerglings, Todd. That's gotta count for something.
True. Scarlett's leaving the infestors next to the hatcheries that she's got down there. Not really producing anything out of them. There's 2 queens at least to hit some injects. And we're having Void Rays being added on for Neeb, actually. He did lose some of the ones that he had. 198 supply. Ah, that feels... No.
Yeah, Todd, I really do think that Scarlett she's just shaking her head. She's like moving her wrist around. She's like, oh man, I'm feeling tired. Like, this game is going on, but she is starting to run out of gas, Todd. Like, she's down to 33,500. I think she will continue to be able to stick it out for a while, but she has to get something done.
And Neeb's actually now setting up the next set of shield batteries down there. Pressure with
another Viper.
Dude, take out these rocks. That as well.
Do you take out the rocks or do you leave them?
Take them out.
Is there advantage?
Take them all out. I mean, it kind of feels like it would make it easier for Scarlett to kind of hide behind this and maybe go for some abducts. I mean, there's still a single disruptor, actually. 7 High Templars.
The High Templar, yeah. Actually, the High Templar I could definitely see. Like, there's a weird scenario where you're trying to come in from that angle. The destructible rocks are blocking your prism from unloading the High Templar to feed back Vipers. I could see something like that. Well,
Scarlett's running out of force.
Yeah, I mean, we are absolutely... It's not even the beginning of the end. This is the end of the end. We're finally witnessing.
Scarlett has 15 spores left. I feel like eventually she's the one supposed to lose patience and engage into this army.
The Viper survived. Transfuse. Okay, Todd. I want predictions on the next game, okay? All right, the next game. Who cheeses? One of them is gonna cheese.
I don't think anybody.
It's like a golden rule of Starcraft that every time you have a game over an hour long, someone tries something like cheesy the next game.
Ooh, Tampa's looking for feedbacks.
Oh,
There's
Viper dies. One Viper being made. Down to 691 gas.
Scarlett's really in big trouble with that gas missing now because she can't make too many more units that will require gas. She's escaping. What is going on? She's gonna base race?
She's running again.
No.
You can't catch me. I'm the gingerbread man. Oh no. Oh no, Todd. Oh, the Viper that was just made.
Yeah, and not the infrastructure gone again. She might be hoping that Neeb is out of minerals, that he can't do this cannon, shield battery, pylon force again to kind of escort his army. In which case, it's going to be harder for Neeb to be as safe.
Yeah, I actually fully agree with you. He is recalling the 2 Tempests he just made. Get them all up and ready. I think this is exactly what you were talking about, Todd, right? Scarlett doesn't necessarily know how large Neeb's bank is behind all of this. We can see all the numbers, but Scarlett has to probably think like, oh, I've been trading out decently well here and there. Like maybe it's worked out, but no. This is, yeah.
Scarlett has 12 spores left. She's getting a hatchery, but this is her last 13 buildings here. That's it, nothing else.
Oh. Yeah, 12 spores, that's it. And 10 creep tumors, which is a slowly fading number.
I thought the Broodlords came up there. They're like, oh, we're bored. We didn't do anything the whole game. We're going to shoot at some cannons.
I think they might get hit a little bit now. Oh, God, the Viper gets tagged. Well, I think that the final lurker might be going down soon. We're down to 11 spores. Let's count it down, guys. We're literally just gonna have a countdown with spores.
Dude, there's still a lurker at 11 o'clock. I don't even know how that's possible up there, all alone. Forgot about.
What if it base traded right now? It can outrange the cannons. Technically, it's feasible.
Neeb again looking to set up the shield battery and cannon force out there. That mothership, careful. I think he's really, like I said, it took him 5 deaths on that mothership to really start being a lot more careful, but now he's being extremely patient.
You know what my favorite part about all of this is, Todd? Is watching Scarlett's camera where every so often she just takes her hands off the keyboard and stretches, like moves her back around in her seat and everything. I'm just like, oh man. she's very soon gonna find out after all these spores die and she's forced into a fight at her final hatchery. She's gonna realize like, oh, this is actually not gonna work out anymore.
I mean, she's been very patient, but it kind of feels like Neeb's breaking her will here, slowly or surely.
Yeah,
can't run forever with his spores.
Oh my God, Neeb is so patient. He's building shield batteries even to this moment.
I see Neeb's even now. I think he knows that it's not really losable anymore. Scarlett, she's finally lost patience. She's going in. It took an hour and 7 minutes, but she's running in. Storms are going to start landing. Revelation on everything. Void Race, prismatic alignment, used immediately. Parasitic bomb, landing on a lot of this army.
We got the Void Rays continuing to attack on in. Time Warp's going down. There it is. Scarlett is being revealed. It's such a close fight. High Templars coming into the mix. The Storm coming on out. Scarlett is gradually taking out Void Ray after Void Ray. And the Storm's coming out on the Broodlords. Neeb could probably attack his own army at this point. I think it would be okay. Scarlett is actually going to start pushing Neeb pretty far back. But can we get a look at the production tab right now?
Yeah, this Storm's hit big time as well on the Corruptor. Scarlett looking to try and clean up this army. There's a lot of Void Rays still left. Some Tempest, some Carrier as well. Scarlett running out of units very quickly. Her supply is plummeted. And she has no way to remake any units. Neeb, he finally does it. It took a while. He stayed very patient. I can see him smile, and be pretty happy with him.